This Hangout on Air is live. Oh, and my hair's a mess, and my computer's a mess, and office is a mess, and what a surprise, my life is a mess. It's a bear's den. What can you expect, really? So no viewers, but that's fine. I'm going to start off by opening one of these bottles of the Three Berry Mellow Mel that I've got kicking here. Wouldn't believe what I had to go through to try and get this live up today. Howdy, Charles. I do see the chat, but I can't type in it at the moment because my computer is being very special needs. Sam, howdy, howdy. Brian, welcome, welcome. I won't even be able to throw out wrenches today because it made me go through a bunch of different hoops. So I'm kind of watching this live stream on the side while I'm watching the chat on the side. And I do apologize if I'm not as responsive as I normally am. Shocks is also not here. She is off dealing with, well, she's got her dance class that she leads on Wednesdays. So I figured, you know what the heck, I might as well try and do something live. Well, I've got the house to myself, and I brought this in my impatience. This is the Sugar Rush Peach. It's off the plant downstairs. I know it's probably still not as peachy as it should get, but at this point, I'm going to give it a try anyway because, well, I want to. The one that I tried that was way earlier than this really had a very nice flavor to it. Lit me up a little bit, but I mean, I'm out of shape, so that's kind of to be expected. Sugar Rush Yellow. Yeah, well, I've been staring at the lights all day and working out in the sun. It's almost peachy to me. John Lord, welcome, welcome. Howdy, Rev. All by himself. Well, I can get into lots of trouble by myself on that note. Rev, this one's for you. You were upset that I didn't have the mead last time, so it really is quite delicious. That coffee mead I've got going seems to kind of be slowing down. So I'm just going to cut this open. We'll see what state the seeds are at. Of course you don't, Rev. Of course you don't. There is no peach. The peach is a lie. It's like the chocolate cake in World of Warcraft. It is a lie. However, there goes a seed. Focus, little camera. Focus. Still looks okay to me. It's about as peach as I think I'm ever going to get. Time to start chewing the seeds. You figure? I'm going to save half of these seeds because I really don't know. Oh, what the hell. All right, John. Sure. So, what do you figure? Shall I just get started on this and quit mucking around, or shall we wait a little bit and see if anybody else shows up? I don't know who is going live tonight. I know, Rev, you used to go live on Wednesdays, but I think that's kind of dropped out of fashion. So, we'll get started on the first half of this, and if anybody shows up later, I've got the rest. Howdy, Jackie. It's not really that much hotter. Than it was before. It's very sharp, sort of crisp. Definitely hitting the whole tongue. I don't regret it, though, so I mean, it's not that bad. It's only a Sugar Rush anyway, so no heat at all. Rev, you eat a lot of hot peppers compared to what I've been able to get going, and my season is a joke up here, tragically. So I'm really out of shape. It's good, though. I mean, I'm still not, of course, it's not ripe, but a Sugar Rush peach will never be ripe. Do they get hotter when they actually get to the point of ripe? Because, I mean, these seeds look like they're probably viable. And it doesn't have any of that green chili taste, early chili taste. So it seems like it should be ripe, but it's really not, right? Because either that or I can't trust Rev and Rob to give me accurate information. I don't know, man. Can't trust the PLC for pepper info. I doubt that somehow. So how much darker should this get? Like you guys are saying genuine like peach. And here I thought it's like 3 weeks since I initially thought that thing was ripe, so maybe it was ripe by now. Either way, it had to come off the plant. Those things are working hard enough just to stay alive in the dungeon right now. I've taken a lot of the green pods off from varieties that, well, I like them when they're green. I'm shooting seeds all over the place. The most beautiful peach color I have ever seen. I'm starting to wonder if I've ever seen true peach. The tip of that's not anywhere near as bad as the rest of it. Not, okay, let me correct that because it's not a bad pepper. It's actually a really tasty pepper. But it's not as sharp as the top of it seemed to be. A few other people joining in, just mowing down on this I'm in no great rush peach here. I'm guessing the reds are just as bad for never going to bother ripening, which is kind of tragic because that plant's got, I don't know, probably a dozen peppers on it. Excuse me, which for me is really good. I'm always pleased when I can get 1 or 2 peppers, so seeing anything like a dozen is, woo, blows my mind. And then that matchbox, of course. Oh, I was just over the edge for the matchbox because that's got so many little peppers on it. Kind of taking the hit of moving into the dungeon pretty hard, though. A little bit of wilt on that. I was checking them today. Found a fan because apparently a lot of my pest issues have been airflow related, so I got that going now. You guys see that tomorrow's video, I think. The cloning thing that was going to be up today. I got distracted. I'll be honest. I was playing with the chainsaw in the back. I'm working on that chicken coop. I'm busting up that tree. Having a hell of a time quartering that log today. It's the 8-foot one I'm working on. And yeah. Yeah, like I was saying, that little chainsaw, not really doing the trick. Could definitely use the torque of gas. And I really, really have got to find the right size file to sharpen that thing. They've been working on their stock at the co-op for like the last 2 days. Oh, well, we got a shipment in. Come back tomorrow. Maybe it'll be unpacked. Still nothing new on the shelves. Really very frustrating that, but whatever. Would have ordered something on Amazon, but I saw the chicken wire I need on super duper sale. It was like $8 off a roll, so I bought that instead. Buying it with swag bucks, so not even actual cash. Gotta like that, but oh my, waiting for that stuff to arrive. It's gonna kill me. All right, well, I've only got a little chunk of this pepper left, and there's not a whole lot going in the chat. I don't know if you guys are still even there. See if I can find this thing here. Live chat. Switch it over. Go to the Google Hangouts. Oh, it's way more complicated this way. I don't like complications. So, here's a random before I eat that last little bit. Bacon killer. No, I cannot grow bananas. Can't even seem to sprout them. Mio, howdy. I was thinking about attempting a live thing on the kitchen channel because I've got to rack that mead. I don't know if anybody would be interested in watching that go down, though, if I should just do it as a proper video, tripod and stuff. Shocks was kind of laughing at me when I was talking about doing it. But I don't know. Everybody seems to like the real reaction, and then we can try it live and rack it live and all that stuff. So let me know in the chat or in the comments if you're watching this after. Oh, excuse me. A bit of the hiccup with some burps there. A bit of a glaze. I didn't even get that from working out in the yard today. That's nice. Excuse me. But yeah, it would be interesting to try and do that. And trying so hard to get that channel back on its feet. So we'll see what happens there. Babette, you made it. Welcome, welcome. I've still got a little bit of this Sugar Rush peach to go. Not much left. and nowhere near as ripe as it should have been. The heckling has already been received. But we got a few more people that have checked in, so I guess I'll finish off the pepper. Mmm. That is so nice. There is a sweetness to it. I can see why it's a sugar rush. And you know, now that I'm kind of getting a little more used to the heat level of it, and I can examine the deep parts of the flavor, the depths of the subtleties of the flavor. Yeah, I definitely do notice that sweet, but it's still, to me, this is a pretty warm pepper. I am dead in the water when it comes to things like Reapers and stuff because I'm trying to grow them. And of course, if I grow it, I'm going to eat it. But if this is what a sugar rush and an ahi and stuff is doing to me, I am, oh my goodness. On the upside, it'll be a live event. So if somebody needs to call 911, you know, Shocks will probably be here anyway. Woo. Jackie, I'm here. Need to try a lot of different peppers next spring. So please do a segment as to when and how to get ready for that. I'm getting started on next spring's peppers already, to be perfectly honest with you. Nothing's popping up, but I'm cloning some of this year's peppers. I've got, I think it worked out to somewhere in the vicinity of 30 little cuttings down there for the lemon hots. Hopefully one of them will root. I'll take a 1 in 30. My rate with cuttings is so bad. 1 in 30 is a success for me. Got a bunch of different types of ghost seeds already started down there. I want to really ramp up the heat in the garden next year, and I want to ramp up the productivity. We did a quick pre-frost harvest last night of the tomatoes and everything. Some of you may be aware I was trying to get to 100 pounds with those tomatoes. That brought us up to near 60. But I've got a whole lot of carrots in the ground. I'm hoping maybe there's 10, 12 pounds there. I'm not going to make my 100 goal, though. Democracy Bear, need rooting powder. Got some. Actually, Brandon Reed was kind enough to send me some, I forget the brand, but some rooting powder, and I've got that downstairs. One of the 4 things I'm trying is 9 of them are dipped in that, and then they're into the moist soil. Those are in the humidome. I'm hoping it'll work. Not a troll traveling. Welcome to the show. Just got in from my aquaponic garden. Darn tomato worms. Oh, bummer. Saw the word peach. Didn't realize it was peppers. Lost 1 peach tree this year and may lose another. That sucks, man. I hate it when trees go down. I mean, right now I'm intentionally chopping trees, but they're not fruit trees. They're, in fact, blocking me from my happy garden life. But when a fruit tree is out of there, it's just, that sucks. Those are not cheap to replace. How old was it? I mean, is one of the things to think of. I know we've got those 2 apple trees out front. They're coming down, but they're both crap. Like, the crab apples are, oh, I'm looking for something smaller than the end of my knife here. So there's not a lot there. They're good for making like a homemade pectin, but that's about it. And the other apple, it only produced two fruit at all this year. And they got attacked by some sort of wasps and like rotted on the tree. So it's down. Mio, peaches in Calgary. Can you not grow peaches in there in Calgary? Is there not a hardy enough variety for that yet? That's disappointing. I was hoping to find a Manitoba hardy variety of peaches, but I guess you can't grow them there. I'm not going to be able to grow them here. Bit of a bummer, that. I do miss peaches, you know, living in Penticton in the valley, the Okanagan Valley there. Peaches everywhere, right? Like, and they're so big and so juicy. Well, I'm going to have to find a new fruit to fall in love with, I guess. Pears seem to do well out here. I've seen a few different varieties of plum trees out here. Seen some cherries. I wonder if nectarines will grow out here. All kinds of different nuts options, I guess. Somebody was saying, because I want to get into chickens, right? So somebody was saying grow a hazelnut bush, and apparently the chickens will just go wild for that. Nice free food supply for them. So that's something to look into in the long run, but that's not really a fruit, is it? Ooh. Apologize for the dabbing of the face here, but I dare not rub my eyes because that will light me up. not smart. But, you know, it is what it is. It's the end of a long day. I've been working in the yard. Feels good to sit down, have a mild beverage, and yeah, burn my face off with a few of my closest friends from wherever you may be around the world. Oh, yeah. So that is delightful. Does anybody have anything they want to chat about before I sign off? Because I'm basically out of pepper, and I don't think I should just sit here and drink mead all night long. I mean, I could, but if I'm going to do that, I might as well be answering some random questions. So for all the various people, Mio, you're in Calgary. Are you shutting down yet for your garden? I had to bring in all of the green tomatoes that were out in the garden. Like I was just saying, that was a good 10 pounds, 12 pounds, whatever. It brought our total up to 60 pounds in the ledger. So it seems like fall is really crashing fast on us. Can peppers handle OC? I don't know. OC what? I'm missing something. Orange County? They probably do fine in Orange County. I'm missing something, Mio. 14 people out there. Hope everybody's been having a pretty good day. It was a nice and sunny day here. Like I say, that's why I was out there. Rev, buddy. Almost got me. But I've already got a bit of the burn going on just up under here. You can't really see it, but believe me, I can feel it. Whew. 0 Celsius, yeah. That's kind of what we've got going here too. It was -1 last night, actually, which is why we did this mad panicked harvest of everything out there. I feel really bad too, because I was just like a few hours earlier before like we checked what the actual temps were going to be. I was talking to the neighbor. I'm like, yeah, come on out, man. The tomatoes are going to be going in soon, so you better grab some if you want them. There's no fence here, so just, you know, come on over, grab the tomatoes. Your woman likes the fried green tomatoes. Get some of those. You like the cherry tomatoes. Get some of those. And then, yeah, we're like, I'm going to freeze tonight. Okay, all the boxes, big bowls we have in the kitchen, just loaded up. I would show you that, but trying to truck it all in from the kitchen and then display it, and that would just be weird, I think. Yeah. Oh, wow. Can peppers 0 C? Now I get you now. 0 Celsius. I don't think they can. My peppers were looking pretty hurting, the ones that I left out there yesterday. It's still in the 90s there, Rev. Really? That's brutal. I mean, that's awesome for you, but I am just more than a little bit jelly right now. I'm not a troll traveling. Getting below 100 Fahrenheit degrees there. Just getting below 100 Fahrenheit. Really? Really? Ouch. See, that's too hot. That's too hot. Yeah, you did miss it. Sorry, buddy. I don't even have anything else that's even close to ripe that I could bring up here. Bradley, welcome to the show. Already dropping leaves and getting some fall weather here. Just keep the humor and know how it coming. Always learn something from you. Well, that's scary. Storming in East Indiana for the last few hours. You might actually have that storm that we got the other day. And the lightning was just kind of going around us for a good 3-4 hours, and the rumble was intense, and Shocks was out there trying to get some of it on her camera, but her camera, for all that she can do great moon videos on that thing, it's poo for trying to get lightning. So I don't know how those people get those amazing shots, but she was out there totally tracking that. So yeah, an official hi to Yaya, Rev. Who else is hanging out here in the chat? It says we got 12 viewers at the moment. Oh, I gotta say, Yaya, I'm a little jealous of the fact that you really seem to have is that a wing specific restaurant that those videos are from? You got it right there. I don't have anything like that around here. The hotel in town may be for sale though, which means, God willing, they're looking for foreign investors. So we might actually get a decent sort of ethnic food in town. I'm so excited. Howdy, Freaky. Need to see more thumbs up. Yeah, man, I can't see my thumbs up on this, but I'm trusting what they have to say. Rev, we got down to the 90s. It's been over 100 all summer. Well, that explains why on your videos in the greenhouse, it's always like rolled up to the side. But yeah, no, no, no. I can't handle that kind of heat anymore. That's part of why we left the valley. I'd go into the greenhouse at like 9 o'clock in the morning and it would be over 100 degrees Fahrenheit in there. And it's just crazy. Just crazy. It's like opening the door and getting steam smashing you in the face. I think the only reason my garden stayed alive in there is because it was the aquaponics and it was constantly getting the water to kind of compensate for the amount of moisture it was losing into the air. Totally ridiculous. I always wanted to upgrade that greenhouse and put in some of those automatic ventilation windows so when it hits a certain temperature, they just open up. I think gas pressure or something in the piston. Kind of funky how it works, but one of these days, I'll probably do that out here when I do build a greenhouse. Most of the time, it's going to be pretty closed, though. Don't really get killer temperatures. We've had a couple of really hot days, mid-30s, so that would be near 100. We had near 40, so that would be over 100. But no, we don't really, we don't have to worry about that out here. JT, do you want paprika seeds? Sure. I'm not going to say no. And I love paprika powder, so I will definitely attempt to grow some of those. Be quite happy to do so. Always looking to expand the pepper collection, though, right? Like, it's one of my many, but one of my most obvious addictions, vices. Freaky, I thought paprika was made from cayenne peppers. I don't think so. I think that's cayenne powder. Paula, welcome to the show. Just got here and then my phone died. Oh, bummer. Well, you haven't missed much except the pepper. Howdy, Punky. Punky, to you quickly on a side note, check out the outdoor channel where I put together that target thing like I was saying for the crossbow. Sleeping bag and a dog food bag. Totally absorb all the impact from your arrow. You don't have to worry about it going through things like you were saying in that other video. Paula, we got hit with the frost last night. Yeah, that's what I was just kind of talking about. We did a major emergency harvest. Actually, you know what? Hang on. Sorry that you're stuck with an empty room. I'll be right back. Here's the bowl. I feel like Charles, except these are all peppers. Here's the bowl of cherry tomatoes that we brought in yesterday. Doesn't quite do it justice. But some of these pear tomatoes, like, they did really, really well. It's not quite as red as it looks like in real life. I might be having some white contrast issues with my camera. We got a few of those Juliet hybrids. Now this one, if you can get your hands on a sweet Juliet hybrid and you like a paste tomato, this is a good one to have. Hey, Rev, in your hundreds, got any of these yet? Any of these? This one's not quite ripe yet, so it's going to be a little on the styrofoamy side, but frost was coming, so I had to bring them in. Gotta love those Indigo Rose, though. I made tomato soup out of early Indigo Rose once, and it wasn't bad. Like, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't great, and I don't think I would do it again. This one here is one of the examples. This was labeled a bush beefsteak. It must have put on 50 of these little tomatoes, but this is the largest one that was on the plant. So I'm thinking that one was mislabeled. It's really hard to keep track, though. That tomato forest got so... No, I'm not putting that on the printer. I'll be right back. That tomato forest got so out of hand. All right, did you miss me? Ugh. Temps today was in the 40s. You're Canadian. Was that 40 Celsius? Holy geez, you had a nice day, Freaky. Frost in early September. Yeah, Rev. Frost in early September. You should come on up to Canada. You think you're an honorary Canadian. We'll let you by. Claim refugee status. Trudeau doesn't care about much, so just walk on in. It'll be fine. Everybody else does. You got 40 today. I don't think we hit that. I think maybe high 20s today at best, but no 40s. Paula, do I have grapes? No, not yet. I planted some last year, but I killed them because I planted them in a container, and the frost in the container, it didn't work out well. I'm hoping to do a trip into Brandon before all of the greenhouses have finished liquidating their end of the season stuff. I might get a few more cheap grapes then and try and plant them in. We'll see. I got really spoiled for grapes. Again, it's a Penticton story, but we lived in that house for, gosh, 10 years. And the grapes that were there were planted when my landlord, who grew up in that house, was a kid. So they were like 60 years old and massive deep roots, and they never needed watering. And there was always just pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of grapes on these things. And there were like 4 different varieties. It was absolutely beautiful. We will get 2 grapes, but we haven't successfully done that yet. And Shocks and I have a couple of conversations to have, because I have some very firm beliefs about the grapes need to be somewhat controlled, and she kind of wants to make fences and stuff out of them. So not going to happen. Punky is moving to Canada. Hey, welcome to Canada, eh? It's generally pretty nice up here, except for the cold. Freaky, we got wine. We must have had grapes at one point. Well, there's a logic there. There's a logic. There's no grapes in this, but a couple of nice berries from out front. Rev, it's cold up here. Yes, yes, it is. And if I ever do cross down to the line, I will be claiming refugee status in your neck of the woods. Just saying. A little touristy there from what I can tell, but I've always wanted to surf, you know. Can you imagine me on a surfboard? Oh, that would be terrible. That would be so bad. Yeah. Not the most balanced individual in the world, you know. Not the most graceful either, but I got really good reflexes, and I managed to save myself from a lot of really nasty tumbles. Not all of them, of course, you know. A few years back, this may have actually been before I started the channel, a few years back when we got all the RC cars, because I was going to start an indoor RC's, what was it, RC's Playhouse is what I was going to call it. Basically, a track you can come by or rent a car for half an hour or whatever, a couple of batteries, and just cruise it and basically beat the tar out of them because insurance covers it and you're good to go. What's making him sweat? The meat or the pepper? It would be the pepper. The meat with the peppers is over here, but it's a little funky at this point. Last time I opened it, the smell wasn't quite right. So I may just have to dump that one into the compost. But whatever, you live, you learn. It's all experimental stuff, isn't it? So this meat thing has been interesting, though. Forgot what I was talking about. That's why I love having Shocks here for this stuff. She keeps me on track, and I'm more than a little on the ADD side. I get very distracted very, very easily. Mead is brewed honey and some herbs. Well, actually, if you're using herbs, that would be a metheglin. Mead is essentially a honey wine. When you add fruit to it like this, apparently it becomes a melomel. When you add spices to it, like I'm doing with the coffee, apparently becomes a metheglin. Now, there's a word I'm not necessarily eager to throw in a title on a YouTube video. I'm making math in the kitchen. Check it out, guys. Oh, can you say copyright strike? Advertisers don't want to throw their ads up on the side of that for some reason. I can't imagine why. Just a little meth lab in the kitchen. I'm drinking it. It's all good. 3 surfboards in the garage. Rev, what are you doing with them in the garage? You going to them artificial waves? Roland Homestead, welcome to the show. So what about I don't know. What's our next topic of discussion? The pepper is gone. The meat is going quickly. And I don't know. Tomatoes are back on the table, so. Never did get any feedback on trying that meat on a live stream thing, so I'll have to decide on my own. I don't like making decisions. Punky, you did miss the pepper. I could go downstairs and grab a green one or a really, really early one, but there's really nothing ripe. The closest thing I've got now, maybe an El Oro to Ecuador. But, yeah. Probably take me 20 minutes of rummaging in the basement I've got the pepper plants really packed in under that one fluorescent light, so I don't know if you remember those little slidey puzzles from when we were kids. They'd be in all like the birthday bags and stuff, and you just have to move one over and slide it over and slide it and slide it and slide it and slide it and slide it. It's a massive pain, but that's what my garden is like. And I gotta, of course, the El Oro was one of the first ones to come in, so I gotta go way into the back to grab that puppy. But I am really, really hopeful that some of these other sugar rushes will eventually ripen. Evil welcome, Robert. But I really don't know. Like, it's so hit and miss moving peppers into my basement to begin with. And then whether or not the plants will stay alive, whether or not the peppers will actually ripen, because the heat is not there. So one thing I've kind of noticed here that I don't know, maybe it's a Manitoba thing, or maybe it's just one of those illusions that my mind is creating for me. But it really seems like the peppers only ripen when they got X hours of hot. It's not about the amount of light that they get so much as the amount of heat that they get. And I think that's what's been a real problem for me trying to grow my peppers in the basement, because it never really gets too hot down there. It's the bottom of, the basement, main story, second story. So the heat just keeps rising, doesn't trap it by any means. And so they don't really get that color. I've thought about heat lamps. Like when I used to have snakes and bearded dragons and stuff, I would put the heat lamps on top of their wire mesh, and the cat would go up and sleep beside it because he was a jerk. But anyway, those seem to do a pretty good job. So I'm thinking maybe if I sneak a couple of those in over the plants that have the most pepper pods, maybe I'll be able to ripen them. But then I'm thinking, what's that going to do to the hydro bill? Because I'm trying to keep it really low key. Right now, believe it or not, with all of the grow lights and stuff that I've got in here, right now our hydro bill is about on par with the people that previously owned the house like 3 years ago. And they were, senior citizens. So they kept the furnace up a little bit more than we did. And they had 40 and 60 watt lights in all the fixtures. And most of these fixtures have 3 to 5 light bulbs in them. So when Shocks and I came here, I did a quick video on the farm channel about greening up the house with LEDs. And we went through here and we must have taken out 20, 40 and 60 watt bulbs and replaced them with like 6 and 9 and 11 watt LEDs. So we leave the lights on all the time, and it still doesn't use a fraction of what the previous light budget was. So now that I've got the grow light downstairs and I've got all the fluorescent lights downstairs, it takes it back up a little bit, but I still think we're about what it would have been if we still had all those old the old-fashioned incandescent lights. So yeah, there's that. Let's check out what's going on in the chat here. I feel like I've been neglecting you guys. Freaky, I wonder if lighting a bonfire next to them will help. I am not lighting a fire in the basement. You can have that conversation with Shocks if you want. I'm not going there. John Lord brought up an entire load of grapevine, California 30-foot vines into the Ontario area for their winery plantings. Nice. I hear Ontario has some really decent wines. I've never explored it. Personally, I've never driven east of Winterpeg. I'm hoping one day that Shocks and I will be able to change that. Maybe we'll get an RV and we'll do the ocean to ocean sort of Canadian trip. Uncle Wimpy, welcome to the show. Bears peppers in the attic. I can't get into my attic, bro. I have been trying for 3 years since we got here to figure out where the hell the attic access must be, because in every house I've ever been in, you can get into the attic, but not this one. So there's a square on the outside of the house above Fuzzy's window that is like the last option for an attic access, but there's no way I'm going up there to plant anything. Freaky, did it transplant? Okay, John Lord, yeah, ask the wine industry in Ontario. Babette, put them under heat rises, the lights. Well, it's not a bad idea. Freaky, put a skylight in the roof. Done with skylights. Done with skylights. Oh my God, it's another Penticton story, but you brought up skylights. Okay, so in that house that we lived in for a decade, at some point, the landlord or his brother, because they're both kind of in charge of the house, decided to cut holes in the roof and put in 3 big, beautiful skylights. Great in theory. Now, they didn't use proper skylights. They used regular old window panes. So when the sun would shine in through those, there was no UV protection, there was no buffering. It turned our whole little house into an oven. And Shocks would sit at her computer because our desks, like we had all four of our computers lined up. As a family of nerds, but whatever. We had all four of our computers lined up in a row, and Shocks would sit there. She had to have this massive wide brim hat on to literally prevent heat stroke because she had gotten it a couple of times just sitting at her desk, and we're like, what the heck is causing this? And we're like, oh my god, the skylights. So yeah, we're done with skylights. It's like roses. Not planting roses either. If Shocks wants to plant one, great, she can dig a hole. She's an empowered woman. She knows how to use the shovel. She can plant all the roses she wants, but I ain't gonna do it. I ain't putting in skylights. I ain't planting roses. I wouldn't be against the idea of maybe putting in some sliding glass windows, like sliding glass doors, and maybe a patio upstairs. And there's a whole bunch of renovations in there I'd like to do, but that becomes a whole other thing because you start adding up your renovations and you can start buying the acreage, and which is more important. I'd rather be on the acreage and build, it's numbers. I love the fact that I'm good with numbers. I hate the fact that I am good with numbers because it just keeps me going in this mathematical circle. I want to do this. It's crazy. Rev, I love skylights. Is that a good idea in somewhere as warm as you are, man? Like I say, though, proper skylights, and I probably wouldn't be anywhere near as, oh, well, let's call a duck, as scarred as I was by those ones in Penticton. But I have joked with her about it a couple of times, like, oh, yeah, we should get skylights up there, and you should see the look on her face. It's not even worth joking about. It's really not. This is not good. I am drinking this way too happily to be drinking by myself. So if the stream ends suddenly, I probably decided I can't censor myself anymore. Okay, Freaky, you have a good point there. Well-placed skylight is great for stars and storms. So is greenhouse. Yeah, we get really bad hail. Skylights turn into paper. See, now that's another concern, right? Like hail, skylights. Yeah, no. Yeah, evil, Robert. The idea of me putting in skylights, that wouldn't happen. Even if we were going to do it, would not happen. I would call somebody for that. The main peak on our roof is super sketchy, and now that we've got the tin up there, no way. This little gray duck is not going up there. I still need to do the addition, but I'm not worried about that. It's like, it's a maybe 1 foot drop over 4 feet. It's a really bad angle. It's not anywhere near as much of a slope as there should be for the amount of snow we get, but hey, that's why we want the house nice and cheap, right? Like, you got to remember, when you buy something that seems like it's too good of a deal, maybe it is. I can't even tell you how many times we've watched The Money Pit with Tom Hanks since we've been in this house. And I watch it and I think to myself, should I be watching this? Because this is just making me feel bad. At least nothing's fallen through the floor yet. That's exciting. And since there is a tub directly above me, that's very exciting. But that is definitely on the to-do list for renovations too. I want to start in the bathroom, move my way around, get the whole upstairs, get some insulation in here. Censorship sucks. Well, Rev, it does, but it floats. So at least that boat is still on its way. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. That hiccup, burpish thing, had a little pepper with it. And I'm sorry to those of you who may find this disgusting, but on the secondary aftertaste that does happen with some of these things, it's actually not a bad paint. It's not a bad pepper. Some peppers, when you eat them, like the really, really hot ones from, I've seen a lot of the tastings, they don't taste particularly great. It's about heat and not necessarily about flavor. And that's why I like these milder ones, is because there's more flavor to them. But when you do eat some of those hotter ones and you get those after burps or whatever, it's like, oh, nasty, right? Like with those Rice Krispies that I made way back in the day there, those were vicious. The burps from that were nasty. And that day that I ate, like 2 or 3 on the live stream, and then we went out in the cold because we were walking to go visit our buddy. Oh, that was vicious. Good power walk in the cold. We stepped into his warm house. It's already like 10 degrees warmer than this one. I spent that whole visit in his bathroom. It was so bad. I was so embarrassed. 20 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, I feel, oh, dude, I gotta go. I'm sorry, man. But those afterburps were not good. I don't know. If you have to revisit your food, I want it to taste good. It's weird, but it's just the way it is. Robert, I know you can come and visit and help to remove the asbestos shingles on my house. I love you, buddy, but I can think of better reasons to cross the line. And all things considered, I don't think I'm allowed to cross the line anymore. I'm pretty sure I screwed that up pre 9/11, and then with the 9/11 kerfuffle, there became no point in even trying to find out. And now with all of this stupidity and tension between our two countries combined to all of that, not even trying. If someday they vote that it's a united North America, kind of like they did with the EU, then I would love to travel around. And again, I've discussed this with Shocks about how much fun it would be to just get an RV and we could travel within a day to a garden and a garden and a garden and a farm and a garden and a farm and a garden. And we could make our way around the vast majority of the states visiting so many of these fine, you fine people that I know, right? And it would be so cool, but not doing it. Just not doing it. Too much tension. Too much tension up here as it is too, but what do you do? So I need a new topic because this is getting dangerously close to politics, and we know what politics does to a good conversation. Paula, we lost shingles several times. Finally tarred them on, no problem since. Tar, not in a roofing style that really works for me either. Punky, when I was young, I'd go to Canada all the time because it was close by and the border was wide open. See, that's how I grew up too, Punky. Like, we used to go through something called the Pace Lane at the Peace Arch Crossing, and my mom would just whip through, show her a little badge, and we'd be down to the States. We had property down there. Like, I grew up. Hell, one of the things that I did to kind of scare my parents and prove my own metal, we'll say, was I rode from basically Vancouver down 3.5 hours to the border, and then another 45 minutes or so down to Beechwood in the Birch Bay area, which some of you Puget Sound folks might be familiar with that area. But we used to have property there. It was a lot of fun. And it was great being able to just cross the border willy-nilly and not have to worry about it. But yeah, I don't know. What the hell's gone wrong with our countries, you know? The whole world's getting crackers though. But see, this is part of what I think part of what drives me to gardening, farming in general. Not necessarily a prepper sort of fear and I'm going to run away and just, oh, I'm going to grow my own crops and hide from society. But the world's gone crazy. I want to know my food is clean. The world's gone crazy. I want to know if it does get ugly, I can have more food. And until everything hits the fan, I'd like to just encourage people to be proactive, grow some food. You know, that's all I'm saying. Well, Justin, I am open to a new topic. Justin would like to change the topic. What do you got? What do you got? What do you got? I'll take just about anything but religion or politics for 500. You know what I'm saying? Good Lord, it's 7 o'clock already. This carried on rather longer than I was expecting. So maybe that's how it got to politics. My brain's trying to shut it down. Too many flags in the background. Just learning how to be self-sufficient. See, that's awesome, Robert, there. When you get right down to it, that's one of my favorite things in life is providing for myself and our family with, you know, my hands. I went out, I grew this thing, I planted this tree, I harvested it. You know, in the case right now, I cut down this tree, I'm turning it into a chicken coop. And I made this, and the feeling that it's empowering, I think, when you are no longer bound to the grocery stores quite as much as everybody else. And, you know, the variety of foods that you can get from growing your own stuff versus just shopping for it is, well, you can't exactly find a Sugar Rush Peach at the grocery store, can you? Well, okay, I shouldn't make such a wholesale statement. I cannot find exotic peppers at our grocery store. I can't even find jalapeno peppers at our grocery store. But I live in small town Canada. Where you? No, that's political. We'll just skip that one too. Yeah, I don't know. 8 p.m. here. Oh, you's on the coast, I see. 1 a.m. in the UK. All right, Sam. Well, you are up the latest. What would you like to talk about? And you win because you should be in bed by now. Unless you're getting up for work, in which case you should still be in bed by now. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Blue Jays are winning. Not in our yard. The Woodpeckers are winning in our yard. You're probably talking about baseball, though. Not a big sports fan. That's one place I think I really let my dad down. Howdy, Chad. My stepdad in particular was very much a sports-oriented individual. Aside from visiting packing plants and basically acting as his secretary, some of the few really happy moments that I have with him are sport related. We'd stop and play tennis. That man played a vicious game of tennis, and he taught me to play that game for blood. And we play a lot of catch and things like that. But when it comes down to playing golf, for example, his favorite pastime, I can't stand it. It ranks up there with curling, his second favorite pastime. I cannot make myself endure these sports. Baseball, okay, back to Blue Jays, Toronto baseball. I can't sit and watch a baseball game either. Now, there are two reasons for that. One of them is pretty reasonable. The other one, not so much. I was in Dodger Stadium at a game when the LA Riot started way back when as a high school kid. That's my main excuse to not go to ball games because the last one I was at, it hit the fan. It could have been just because I was at a ball game. Life is funny. And the other one is I can't find a pillow that'll keep me comfortable in the stadium. I can't watch. See, Punky? That's what I'm talking about. It's slow and it's boring. I love to play it. Playing baseball is great. It's way more entertaining when you're actively involved. But when you're sitting back and watching it, I can understand why people, I don't know, maybe do their business deals out at the ball stadium or whatever, but don't knock curling. Oh, well, it's just one man's opinion, so that's just that. Curling is surprisingly popular here in Manitoba, actually. They were very disappointed because, what was it, last year? I think it was last year they had to shut down the seniors curling teams here in town because they just couldn't get enough people interested. At that point, I almost gave in just because I was raised in that sort of respect your elders, sort of, if they want to have fun, help them do so. And, therefore, if Shocks, Fuzzy, and I need to make the Bear House curling team so that they can play, maybe we'll do that. I'm not quite sure what the situation is going to be going into this winter, if they're even going to try or not. But sometimes you do things in life for other people. It doesn't matter if you enjoy it or not. I enjoy a lot of the elderly folks in town who do enjoy curling, so I may pretend when it comes right down to it. Oh, evil genius, Robert. No, curling is not a sport. Curling is as much of a sport as shuffleboard, bro, which is not a sport. Yeah, no. And there's nothing wrong with being a fat nerd. I was a fat nerd. Wrestling and rugby. Those were my sports in high school. Not because I enjoyed them so much, but because I got to settle a few scores with my PE teachers. But Mr. Brickington in particular, he used to really rag on me for being overweight. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I am down from like 300 pounds in my youth. I'm just over 200 now. I feel pretty good about that. I got a bit of a spare tire, but it's a little tiny Honda tire now, right? It used to be a monster four-wheel driver. But my gym teacher used to really, really rag on me for that. And he would constantly put me down. Now, I'm not a jogger. I do not believe in running with no great sense of urgency. However, I can sprint like you would not believe. Somehow I can make this ball of me just whip down the road. Howdy, Bounty. So in rugby, I always made sure I was on the team in opposition to the teacher. And every time, every game, I was just on him. But whatever, he seemed happy because I was actively participating in the sports that were, today's class. And I was happy because I was settling the score. And wrestling was like that too, because, oh, I'm going to make an example out of you because you don't ever do anything in the class. And it's like, well, I'm big, but I'm wiry, guy. Is this really going to work out for you? And the answer is no. No, it did not. So, yeah, those were my only two favorite sports. And I think I have grade 8 gym is the last one I've officially passed, because at that point I'm like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm gonna go play the trumpet. I can get 9 credits for band. Just back off, gym guy. I did actually end up getting a ridiculous number of band and choir credits. And then I still didn't graduate properly, but I do have my GED. I got around to it. I went back later on and took that. So lots of fun. Well, Evil, you're up. I'm down from 200. I'm down from 300. So, yeah. Rugby, yeah, is a great sport. I was actually really excited. Fuzzy took it up for a while when he was in actually that same age. He was like in grade 8. And it was the only time I ever really was excited to be one of those. I'm a parent on the sidelines at the sporting event. Cool. Go sports. Yeah, go Fuzzy. In that situation, it's easy to have the passion for the game, because even though it's your child playing, you are a little more personally involved. That said, hockey parents, I was never one of those. You have to do the best. You have to win. You have to get that ball. You got to do it. I hate those kind of parents, and there were always those on the sidelines. But Rev, you don't believe I'm a fast sprinter? Prove it. Come on up. We'll have a couple beers and I'll race you. That's my solution to that one, buddy. And bring your runners. So, yeah. Anybody who wants to come up and have a quick sprint, seriously. I did soccer. That's where my sprinting skills come from. My parents, as I was younger, my stepdad really wanted me to get into hockey because, Canadian, right? Got to be a hockey player, got to be a hockey player. And he was kind of one of those hockey parents. And so they took me into speed skating. People like me, I got really weak ankles, okay? People like me should not be on skates. Overweight people like me, doubly so. So this did not go well, and I eventually rebelled my way out of that. But the solution then became soccer. So by grade 5, I was stuck in this rather intensive coaching program for soccer, and they did a lot of sprinting exercises. And so that I got early conditioning and training for that. But when we actually played the games, because of my weight challenge that was already setting in by then, I was left a lot in the defensive zones. So I wasn't really doing the long-term sort of running and sprinting that you would expect to see. And so I never really developed a joy for it. But when it comes to sprinting, seriously, come on up. I will happily race anybody. Not saying I'm going to win, but I will surprise you. And actually, Rev, I will beat you. Come on up. I'll race you anytime. Got some weird sort of sounds going on in the kitchen. So I don't know if I should check what's going on over there and leave you guys staring at our office. The Shocks in Theory has 2 classes tonight. She's got the 6 to 7 o'clock class, and she's recently started a second class. I think it's really cool, but I don't think our town is ready for it yet. She's started an open gender, like a unisex belly dance class, all ages, and it doesn't seem to be going well because the teenage boys and teenage girls and stuff, I don't know. They say they're into things, but when it comes to actually doing something, they're just, oh, well, I forgot. But the idea is there. And personally, okay, when she first got into belly dancing 7 or 8 years ago, quite a while ago, I got a coin belt. I gave it a try. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's ridiculous, especially as a slightly overweight guy, looking at my beautiful muse, and she's all making it look so easy, as people who are good at things do. They make it look easy. So it makes you want to try it. And I'm sitting there, I got this brown coin belt, and I'm shimmying, I'm shaking, and I'm laughing at myself because it's all jingly and stuff. But damn, that's actually really hard to do. Massive props for male belly dancers. They're very fit individuals. Let's see, back to the chat here. Bounty, beware your surroundings. We'll be there when you get back. I'm nervous to leave you guys with my surroundings. I don't know what the dog's gonna say. You know, he's got a lot of dirt on me. He's been around for a decade. So soccer is a great sport, fitness and skill combined. Soccer, again, it's a play it. I love to play soccer. I love to play drunk soccer. That's really when the game gets to be the most fun. But it's really hard to find people out here that are into that. So it's kind of, I'm missing out on some of the sports that I like to play. It's one of the things that's kind of been really hard for me with the transition out here to Manitoba. Like I said, growing up with my stepdad, one of the only things we used to do that was a positive bonding moment was the tennis. And I have some very expensive tennis rackets. I put a lot of effort into this. I don't think there's a tennis court within 100 miles of me. So it's one of those things. I've talked to Shocks a few times about, one of these days I'm gonna get a front end loader. We're gonna smear it down. I'm gonna lay a tennis court out there and we can freeze it for ice skating in the fall. Because I figure if I'm skating in my backyard, it doesn't matter if I look like an ostrich on those things. I can develop some stability and eventually get there. Let's see. Yeah, it's me. JT's next video. Belly dancing. Nope. I got the belly for it, but it don't dance. That's what I'm trying to say. LJ Bush, are you a tall person? Don't say how you can carry 300 pounds. I'm just under 6 feet tall, and I take that to be the positive proof that coffee will in fact stunt your growth. My two younger brothers are 6'4" and 6'3". So yeah. No, I didn't exactly look particularly good at 300 pounds. I was trucking around in size 44-inch pants, and I didn't feel very good about myself at all. But I did a lot of stupid things in the, we'll say 17 to 29 range that ultimately helped me lose a lot of weight through stupidity, and I've been able to keep it off through good diet and maintenance now that I've smartened the hell up. But you know how it goes. You find a good woman and suddenly life's a little more worth living, a little more worth taking care of yourself. And you're right, I shouldn't eat this double matzo burger. I should have this sandwich instead. So yeah. I don't know, Robert. There's a very good chance that I may actually have some tendencies towards diabetes already. I'm afraid to go to the doctor and find out, which is not good. But here's why I have those concerns. My mother was diabetic. My grandparents on her side were diabetic. My grandparents on my father's side are diabetic. My sister died quite suddenly from something that really, really seemed to be an extreme lack of blood sugar, but they never found anything in the autopsy. So I am hyper aware of dizzy spells, and I go, okay, have I eaten anything? Have I had any sugar? What's in my system? But I've never actually gone to get checked because I'm afraid. As stupid as that is, especially as a Canadian with our free guaranteed health system, but you get what you pay for. I'm just going to say that. I'm sure there are other Canadians in the chat, so I know I know you guys know what I'm talking about there. I would be okay with paying for medical services if they were going to be from qualified individuals. I don't care to take the time to go to less than qualified individuals, even if they are free. Rev, there are indoor tennis courts in Brandon. But did you just Google that? And that's still 100 miles away, dude. That's a full hour. So I'm looking at a $40 gas bill round trip to go play a game of tennis. I had better come up with a better reason to be there. But if you happen to know pricing or whatever. Well, let's just leave it. I will look that up when we are done this particular live stream, because I would love to go play a game of tennis. racquetball, squash. I would settle for any of the badminton. I would settle for badminton right now. I want to play a racket sport. Is that wrong? Can't be wrong. Makes me happy. Can't be wrong. And it's not illegal, so the government says it's not wrong either. Well, see, right, between Mio and Punky, here we've got the situation. Mio, true, our med sucks. It's free, but it sucks. It's true. Punky, USA healthcare, expensive, and it still sucks. Very true. You know, like, this borders back on religious political conversation again, so I'm not going to really stay here for too long, but this is one of the things that has gone so terribly wrong with the world today. People, doctors shouldn't be in it to get rich. They should be in it to help people. And like, I don't understand, you know, how you go from, I want to make people feel better, to I'm going to give you this because it makes my wallet feel better. I mean, I guess, you know, you get your student loans and all your bills and stuff that go up, and you got to pay that off, right? It's a scary debt load. But I need a new topic. Build a court and it could double as a basketball court. See, hoops, right? That could be fun. Not terribly good at basketball, but I can hold my own. I can hold my own against midgets, dogs, cats. I could probably do well against chickens. Not quite sure. Turkey probably have my number. Raspuny, need, yes. Arr. On that. For Fuzz. Fuzz doesn't play basketball. Fuzz skates and mountain bikes, climbs. You know what his thing is parkour. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this concept, or if that's like the Canadian terminology for it or whatever, but basically jumping off of buildings and doing these flips and spins and all that stuff. Fuzzy's a monkey, and that is his favorite thing, and it scares the crap out of me watching him do that. But he's a little rubber person still, so I try not to discourage him from doing that, but I try and encourage him to make safe decisions when he's doing that. And to be perfectly honest, you know, I haven't seen young Fuzzy in a month or so. I'm starting to think his relationship's getting kind of serious. He's been effectively living with the girlfriend. Okay. Now let me redefine this. By living with the girlfriend, I mean either living at her parents' house or living at his parents' house here. But they've basically been living together for like a year. And I have yet to see like a serious spat between them. So I almost think she might be the one. She's such a wonderful spirit for him. So I don't care that he's disappeared, because he checks in every once in a while. He talks to Shock, says, "Hey mom, just checking in, letting you know we did this, that, and the other thing." And he is learning all about the native plants and stuff, because her grandma does a lot of picking for the elders up at the res that they live on. And so he's getting a great knowledge of like the natural cranberries, or the local cranberries, and the local mushrooms, and all this stuff. So it's really, really exciting to watch him blossom into a young gardener, even though we all, oh, excuse me, that's the meat and the pepper stocking. I can tell from the taste it was both. We all kind of try and rebel against our parents a little bit, but he's kind of slipping into it anyway, so that's awesome. At least he's getting some. Well, I hope so. I don't know. I try not to ask about that. We've gotten to this point. And I warned him about this. I warned both the Shocks' boys about this as they were growing up, because I started off, we got together in '05. The boys were 6 and 7. And therefore that meant a lot of censorship in my sense of humor and things like that. And I warned them straight out. I was like, guys, I get a lot funnier when you get older. You're going to have to trust me on this. I can't tell you that joke. No, I can't tell you that one either. No, I can't tell you that one either. But now that we've gotten to that point, see you, Justin. Have a good dinner. Now that we've gotten to that point where like Fuzzy's 19 and Research, he's like 21, he's married. So I don't, my censor board is out to lunch. I just completely talk to these guys like guys, right? Because I've tried to be their parent and be their friend and be a guardian and a source of some guidance, although I still maintain getting guidance for me is a questionable decision, but I did the best I could, right? And that's all any parent does, is you do the best you can. But now that they're older, I find I go into too much information way too fast with these guys. I'll tell a joke and they'll turn beet red, like the color of the flag, red. And it's just like, what? What did I say? It's like, you you shouldn't say those kind of things to me. I'm your kid. Well, yeah, you're my kid, but you're an adult. And I figured we can talk like I talk to other adults. No, too much information. I don't need to know that. Um, so that's been quite interesting. So good for Fuzzy, though. As long as he's happy, right? I think, again, that's another one that all parents kind of fall back on. Ultimately, as long as our children are happy and safe, isn't that what matters? You know, there's a, well, this is kind of personal, but in many ways, you guys are my support group anyway. I share a lot of stuff with you guys. It is kind of a vloggy channel. It's a very gardeny vloggy channel, but this is about my life. My daughter has recently told me that she feels she should be my son. And she is undertaking the steps to go about making that happen. She's not even 16 years old yet, although her 15th is coming up bloody fast. And you know, I think she was a little shocked that I took it as well as I did. I know I was a little shocked. I know Shocks was a little shocked. But when she told me this, it's like, well, okay, I'd like to know why you feel that way, but I fully support your decision. But I'd really like to know why you feel that way, because it's not any easier being a guy or a girl. There is no real bias towards either anymore. If anything, you're probably better off as a girl. So it's hard to deal with some of these things, but she's got to be happy. You know, Fuzzy's got to be happy. Research, I know Research is happy. He and his young woman, you know, they're doing really well. He's grown up to rebel against me and be a responsible individual, and I'm so proud that I had to work with at least one of the children. You know, stay crazy and your kids will rebel against you by being normal. It's a weirdo win, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And yeah, happiness is what matters, you know, happiness in our own lives. And if we're happy in our relationships, it gives them the opportunity to see what happiness looks like and not to fall for want of a better phrase, a narcissistic version of happiness. And they get to experience that. And as parents, we get to watch them experience that. And that, you know, it all kind of feeds itself, and just your warm, fuzzy feeling keeps growing. I'm a little worried about how emotional I'm going to get to be as a grandparent, but I don't think we're at that point yet. Research is still waiting a few years. Fuzzy's still a few years away. And the young Squeak, who I don't know how long I'm going to get away with calling her that for, well, she better be a few years away because she's still in school. So, yeah. All right, well, I'm going to finish this here mead and hope somebody in the comments gives us a new conversation topic. Other than, I tried starting this stream at 6 o'clock. It took me 5 tries to finally get this sucker up. I had some beautiful descriptions written. YouTube didn't care. Kept clicking next, 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 and it just stayed there. Kept telling me it was going to schedule it forward for the next 5 minutes or so from now. And I wait 5 minutes and nothing happened. So I exit out and I wait 5 minutes. Nothing happened. So actually, on that note, were you guys getting spammed with JT is going live, JT is going live when all of that was going on, or did YouTube at least keep that crap in-house? Would love to know about that. Raspuni, cheers. What about how you're going to keep temperatures happy in the basement this year? Actually, you know what? That's a lot easier in the wintertime than it is in the summer, as stupid as that sounds, because our furnace system isn't fully worked out properly. We have a big open thing. And yeah, so a lot of the heat gets kind of recirculated into the dungeon, and it keeps it pretty warm while it's warming up the rest of the house, which is good because when the pipes freeze, that sucks. When you can't flush because it's 45 below outside, that is not a good day. There's a lot of cute in this house. Cute and stench go hand in hand. I'm just leaving it at that. But so during the winter time, because of that bad heating system, really. Oh, bye, Punky. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the visit. Nice to see you with us. Because of that bad heating system, though, like I was saying, it keeps the basement temperatures much closer to what the office temperatures are here in the wintertime. It's just in the summer when we fully shut off that heat, it drops down to like 60, 62 on a really good day. And the humidity level just kind of jacks right through the roof. So I've been running the dehumidifier down there in the summer to try and raise the temperature a little bit, and basically just kind of pouring that water into my fish tank, which has worked out really well. I haven't actually had to put city water back into the tank in quite some time. Shocks was a little nervous about that at first because it was a used dehumidifier, but I poured an awful lot of water down the drain before I started pouring it into the tank, so I figured it would have been fairly cleaned out by that point. Mio, how is the biocomposter going? Well, it's making fabulous compost tea. It is yet to produce any sort of methane. I have tried several times to light it, but no go. Not a troll traveling. Didn't see the notice. Okay, glad I caught it, but I have to run to catch the end later. Bye. All right, well, thank you for hanging out with us, Nada. It's always really fun to see who's going to join into the chat, and I think that's part of why I'm kind of embracing this live streaming thing lately too. I enjoy the daily videos because there's the conversation that happens, and I get back to my desk once in a while, and I get back to comments after the video. And in general, I sit down in the morning with my cup of coffee, not coffee, but coffee needs soon. But anyway, I sit down in the morning with my cup of coffee, and I answer the comments, and it's a lot of fun. I really feel like since 2012, it's like 6 years, over 6 years, I've developed some very good relationships with you guys. Night, Sam, get some good sleep, buddy. Thank you for joining us, especially on this late night on your end of things. I feel like I've created some really good friendships, and now I don't know if that's because I'm a pen pal generation, and I grew up doing those letter exchanges through the schools with kids down in the States and kids down in Africa and kids down in Australia and all that stuff. So therefore it kind of segues quite naturally into forming friendships in this type of environment. Or I don't know if it's just, you guys are really nice. I think I got really lucky with the community that's forming around my channel. Sorry, I keep nudging my desk here and it bounces the camera. I watch a lot of videos, right? And I'm a comment reader. So I read through these things, and I see a lot of hateful comments and a lot of ignorant comments and a lot of just tools with keyboards, and I don't see a lot of that on my channel. I really appreciate that about the people in the gardening community, and in particular the people that have become my viewership. Here's a question, actually, on the people who have become my viewership. Right after we check out what LJ's got here, it's the establishment at school. It's working to change kids into going against what's natural and right. Oh, that's getting back into politics. I'm trying to stay out of politics, but there might be an LBS show topic in that. Damn, I forgot what I was saying. I don't know. Is that the pepper? Is that the meads? Is that just too many? I need shocks. I need my muse to keep me inspired and on track. What the hell was I talking about? We were saying goodnight to Sam. Garden people are good people. Yeah, that train of thought has just completely left the station without me. Gone. Let's see. Robert, evil genius. Not too many children are into gardening. That's sadly true. That's sadly true. But you know what? I wasn't into gardening as a child either, and I've grown into it as an adult. So, Raspooni, a good question, I'm sure. Something about a question for all of us. Thank you. I'm so glad you guys are paying attention, because it's not that I'm not trying to pay attention, just that I've been drinking for the last hour or so. And ADD to begin with. My question for the crowd. Back when I started YouTube and I was doing all of my research as to how to build a better YouTube channel, building a brand name, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. One of the things that they suggested was to come up with a name for, this sounds really wrong, but you have to remember this was taken as advice given to a creator, okay? A name for your people. Like, I can't even think of any of them at the top of my head here, but you know, so like instead of referring to my viewers or you guys in the chat, a friendly, comfortable name. What would be a good, friendly, comfortable name to refer to the general populace of my viewers as? I think is the question, but I blame the mead. It's good mead. If you haven't tried brewing this at home, it's completely legal. It's fairly cheap and it's really, really easy. Check it out on the kitchen channel. Super easy. Rev Toast, I get some hilarious comments from haters on my channel. Love it. Rev, I would love to, you know, one of these days, I want to just kind of go through your comments, because you're probably talking about that chainsaw video where you, because I think that's your most hated on video, right? Wolfen, the Bearites. Thanks, Mark. That's a great suggestion. Mio, Cubs, Bears, Boozers. You know, I'm not entirely sure that's the sort of message I'm going for. Just happened to be relaxing a little bit today. Bear Cubs, eh? The Bearites. The Bear Family Robinson? See, I thought about that in the beginning. And because of the name of my channel being effectively the name I wish that I had been born under, it's really hard to come up with, for me anyway, to come up with something that feels right. But I figure maybe some suggestions from you guys might help inspire something. I really, because I do enjoy the community and I enjoy the relationship that we have, like I've been saying, and I've really kind of been saying a lot over the last few months, but I don't know, it's starting to become more important. It's very weird. Okay, a little bit of background. When I started my YouTube channel, and I've kind of talked about this a few times too, the Bear Clan. Okay, I like that one. I didn't even like to be in front of a camera. There are a lot of reasons for that. The number one reason for that would be that my best friend when I was growing up had a very creative father who was moderately diabolical, and he created several devices over the years that looked innocent but shot pellets at you. And then he got into cameras, and I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. You don't point anything else at me. And that kind of just carried on to cameras in general, because that was about the same time my weight problem really started developing, and I really didn't want to be in front of a camera. I really didn't want anybody seeing, you know, I was not proud of who I was. And then my channel, Shocks, literally made me start my first video. She grabbed my camera. You're putting this on YouTube. There was no argument. That was the first time in our relationship that I really understood what that tone sounded like from her, and that this is not a conversation. You have been told, just do it. And she doesn't use that tone with me very often, and I really appreciate that. We were already several years in by the time that we got to that point. But, excuse me, having heard that, I got into it, I tried it. And now it's like, excuse me, this every day. Hey there, everybody, blah, 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 blah. And maybe because of my shy upbringing, maybe because of my Christian upbringing, I don't know. I don't feel good about being the center of attention. This really weirds me out, and I think that's a big part of why I interact with my chat so much, whereas a lot of people don't necessarily, because I've noticed people say, hey, thank you for responding to the chat and all that, and it's like, well, isn't that what the chat's for? I don't like to be the focus of the attention. And Rev, I owe you an apology, brother. I really do, because you tried for a really long time to get me to come on your show, and I was dodging it, and I was dodging it, and I was dodging it, and you still seem to really love having me on your show. But I feel like when I join in the larger meetup communities, like everybody's expecting something from me, and they're expecting me to be the entertainer. Old Shield, hey, welcome to the show. And that's, I mean, maybe by nature I am. I drink, I tell jokes and all that crap, but I don't like to be the center. I like to let other people be the center of attention, and I like to spread it around, you know? I have the gift of gab. Yes, I do. My mom used to call it the silver tongue and the gift of the Blarney Stone. I don't think she was being flattering, though, when she used to say that. So. Revtos, weight isn't that bad. You can lose it. Try being ugly like me. I've tried being ugly like you. I actually consider myself several shades worse, but, you know, whatever. Everybody's got their own issues that way. When you get right down to it, I don't think there really are any ugly people. We are just all conditioned and programmed to think we're ugly. So there's your philosophical thought for the day, everybody. Are you ugly, or have you been conditioned to think that you are? Robert, it's funny that those uncomfortable being at the center of attention are also the class clowns. Well, there is that. But in my defense, with the class clown thing, okay, I was really, really bored in school. They had the opportunity when I was young to advance me a couple of grades, because that's just the way my brain was ready to deal with that stuff sooner than my body was. My mom, on the other hand, felt to reduce the level of social awkwardness that would go along with that. Instead of advancing me like 3 years, they only advanced me 1. But I was still really, really bored in class, and it was the combination of I was the youngest kid in every class I was ever in, ever. And I was still bored out of my freaking tree, and I was done the classwork half an hour in, and I'm still looking at 30 minutes on the clock, and it's like, yeah, so did you hear that joke about the blah, blah, blah? And I'm in trouble, and the next thing you know, I'm at the detention. I'm sitting on the bench, and the principal's looking at me like, well, did you not do your work? I was like, no, my work's done. Okay, so why are you here? Because my work's done and I was bored. You know, and then I got up to my senior high school. Up where I went to school, we had grade school, junior high, and senior high. So grade school was K to 7, junior high was 8 through 10, and then senior high was 11 through 12. And I went into senior high, and I learned that you could skip class. I learned that you could skip class, and nobody would ask you any questions. And that, for that matter, you could go get a green piece of paper from the office, write anything you wanted on it, walk into class with 5 minutes left to go, and the teacher had to accept that. Well, this was a whole new level of freedom for me, and I suddenly wasn't anywhere near as bored in class because I wasn't in class. So I failed my first year of grade 12, and then I'm looking around, and I'm like, wow, I'm the same age as everybody. For the first time in my educational life, I'm the same age as everybody else. So I I probably could have tried harder that year. Long story short, I spent 4 years not necessarily attending grade 12, but having a lot of fun and doing a lot of social networking. I met some really great people who, to this day, are still a very large part of my life. But yeah, wasn't as focused due to boredom as I could have been. Class clowns caused by boredom, not so much the desire to be the center of attention. It was a really long story to get back to that point. Old school, old shield. Payphone in school. Yeah, and pagers. Who remembers pagers? You got a pager. You must be a drug dealer. That's like when I first got into the aquaponics stuff. It's like, oh, something ponics. You must be growing pot back there. Oh, actually, I'm growing tomatoes. If I was growing pot, I'd be living in a better neighborhood because I could afford the rent. Thanks, though. I don't miss pagers either, man. I don't miss pagers either. It's actually the pager mentality is part of why I still don't have a functioning cell phone. I mean, I have one in my pocket to use as a stopwatch, pocket watch, you know, take pictures as I want, but it is not connected to a plan because I learned with the pagers that if someone pages you, you are expected to stop what you're doing, find the nearest payphone. Good luck now. Find the nearest payphone, call this person, assuming they're still home, and then solve whatever their crisis was. My pagers soon developed a lot of battery issues. Oh, my battery must have been dead. I didn't get that message. And then other people that were, closer in my circle of influence got numbers to identify. Well, there was their phone number, and then there was their personal code number, and there was the what type of emergency is this number? Like, do you need a designated driver? Are you in trouble? Do you need me to talk you out of jail? What is your problem? We had everything from 42 to 911. Like, we had a million different things worked out. It was ridiculous. So when cell phones came around, obviously that made things easier because it's hello, but it makes things harder because now it's, oh, I answered that. Yeah, I'm stuck on the phone. Yeah, no, that's no big deal. I'm just driving down the highway in my standard doing 120 right now. I got no problem talking on the phone. I'm really glad that they have made, in Canada anyway, in Manitoba, they have made certain laws, and you can get like a $165 fine for what they call distracted driving, which is basically chatting on your cell phone. Even if you're holding it in front of you while you're driving, you're still chatting on your cell phone. It's still a $165 fine. It's really cut down on a lot of the accidents out here. And I think that's good because a lot of people who could potentially grow up to do good things are taken out by youthful stupidity. And that may be what's really holding the world back a lot right now is youthful stupidity getting in the way. So some laws I agree with, some I don't. That one's one of them, the ones that I do. Did I just say that I liked a law? Yes, Rev, I did. I did, because I believe this one actually does keep us safe. What I don't like is watching cops running around driving at 120 with their sirens on, talking on the cell phone. I don't like that. I think if it applies to me, it applies to you. And this is where, see, as we dabble back into politics, this is where a lot of things have gotten terribly off track here in North America, at least, because a lot of lawmakers don't feel that the laws that they make apply to them, just to the plebes or the voters. So, gray area. Old Shield, I don't like cops. Well, you know what? I like cops. I don't like pigs. There's a big difference in my world. For clarification, a cop is a person who is following the laws and doing their best to ensure the safety of their fellow citizens. And sometimes that means putting their life at risk. And they walk away from their families each and every morning to do that. And they do the best they can to not cause more harm in the world while taking care of it. Pigs, on the other hand, I consider to be people with badges and guns who absolutely abuse their authority. And they're like, Shocks used to have a stalker pig. Like that is not cool. Just because you got a badge and lights does not give you the right to stalk some girl you think is cute and follow her everywhere. You don't have that right. She was even dealing with that when we got together. And then I have a certain bearing and a way of carrying myself and speaking to people that seem to help that kind of fizzle away. I don't know if that's because I did 8 years in security or if it's just because I grew up in a really hard city and I don't take no crap. But either way, that gentleman is no longer part of our lives. And I've encountered a lot of pigs like that over the years. I don't like the expression because it seems so stereotypical, but sometimes a stereotype exists for a reason, right? Like it is what it is. And no, I love and appreciate police officers and cops that are going out there to try and improve the world around them and try and be the voice of reason in a world of madness. I love that. People who are going, I have a gun, you have to do what I say, get out of the car right now because I've had 17 cups of coffee and my mirrors are on the inside of my sunglasses. I don't need them. I don't have any use for them. Rev, okay, I need a badge and a light to stalk chicks. I didn't get that memo. You don't need these things, but apparently it makes it easier for you. So I don't know. But there's this law about impersonating a police officer. It could cause you problems in the long run. Ditchweed, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Absolutely correct. Which is why, and here we are back on politics, but which is why the founding fathers of the United States of America put in so many different ways to limit the authority of the government. And I don't want to get into this, but essentially, you either need limited government or you need a monarchy. Anywhere in the middle seems to end up with a lot of dead, innocent citizens. Rasputin, man, I can't meeting a pig RC. Can't imagine meeting a pig RCMP. Dude, go to Penticton. Okay, Rasputin, you want to meet a couple of real pig RCMPs, RCM pigs, as we call them in Penticton. Go out there, especially during the August long weekend. They're all jacked on their own self-importance, and it doesn't matter if you're going 2 miles an hour over the limit. They're going to give you a ticket. They're going to search your car. They're going to make your life a living hell because you were in town. Pigs. For the most part, though, RCMP officers, Royal Canadian Mounted Police, particularly the ones on horses, really not bad. That said, if you ever get a chance, as a Canadian or visiting in Canada, to check out a mounted horse parade from the RCMP, time well spent. Those guys, that's some of the best money the RCMP spends. Those are beautiful horses. Those are beautiful uniforms, beautiful formations, classic stuff. Very much worth it. Mark, yeah, mounted pricks. Well, you're in Calgary, I think, so you've kind of got some of the same mentality as the Penticton ones. It's just some are great, some not so much. But okay, so let's take this and we'll turn it to something more relevant. YouTubers, right? It's the same with police as it is with YouTubers. You're going to find a lot of YouTubers out there that are just complete and total douchebags, and they're just doing things to get the views. They're trying to get spread out there, trying to find the next viral video. They don't care whose feelings they hurt. They don't care, right? And that's the face of the YouTube creator that the general world sees, because that's what the media wants to push out there, because we are alternative media. Whereas you get a lot of really nice YouTubers on the other side that are just really loving, friendly, sharing, helpful people that want to go out there and make your life better and feel good about helping you. Like, again, so many people in the community here on my channel, like, the only reason, and I swear to God this is true, the only reason that I can successfully harvest anything at the end of any given garden season is because of the kindness of the Bearites, the Bear Clan. You guys in the comments giving me your experience and saving me years of learning curve. And they're just like day and night, these two things. And in the middle, you've got cute pet videos. You know, it's crazy, but any occupation has the opportunity to create a better or a worse individual. You know, even the military. I've known people who have gone into the military as complete and total asswipes, and when they come out after they've done their 4 or 8 years or whatever, they understand the concept of respect. They understand the importance of it. They understand the importance of following the line, but they also understand the importance of doing what's right. And it's amazing to watch people evolve. But at the same time, you can watch a really nice guy sign up, and when he comes out of his tour of duty, he's broken. This guy is never going to be right again. And they had the same job. They experienced the same things. But one made a better man and one broke a man. Any job. So I don't like to, back to the original point here, is I don't like to canvas statement, I hate cops, I hate politicians. I'm disappointed with a lot of the police officers that I've met, but I'm really proud of a lot of the ones that I've met. I'm disappointed with a lot of the politicians that are in charge of North America right now, but there are a few good ones out there that are trying. I'm disappointed with a lot of what's going on YouTube, but I'm really proud of a lot of us that are continuing to fight through it and go, I don't care that my channel doesn't make your qualifications. I'm still going to go out there. I'm still going to encourage people. Like, again, Shocks, who is still not home yet, so I can get away with this stuff, but she has another channel. It's the Char Wilcox channel, and she does a daily thing called Celebrate the Beauty, and every day she finds something to just enjoy the fact that it's positive, and to literally celebrate the beauty of that moment. And she manages to do that each and every day. And to me, This is something that should be viral. These are the kind of things that should be just exploding on YouTube, because the world needs more positivity. It needs more powerful, inspirational, motivational people that are just ordinary people like you and like me, right? Because I'm just an ordinary person. I just got a camera in front of me is all. But that's not what's going viral. What's going viral is hatred and anger and frustration and bad news and negativity. And I don't know. If I died tomorrow, God forbid, but if I died tomorrow, I would want the overall message of my channel to have been, go forth, try things. Worst that's going to happen is you're going to fail and you're going to learn something. I wish more people going out into the world had a similar goal, and yet it feels vain to say that, because to say that more people should be like me is totally vain, right? And one of me is plenty. But how much nicer would it be the world if the world were motivated by kindness and sharing and helpful and just kindness? You know, it's messed up. But anyway, we are back at another one of those points where I either need a topic or I need to click that stop broadcast button. So let's just see what the chat has to say here. Revtos, I think it's just a few out there that are messed up. They get showcased, so it seems like a ton of them. Talking about cops or YouTubers, either way, you're probably right. Ditchweed, right on, man. Real world, eyes wide open. Civilians in a fluffy bubble got no taste. Well, you're not supposed to be eating them, and if you are, can I recommend some seasonings? You know, just throwing that out there. Ditchweed, yes, RTV. Mark, that's a gift. Ditchweed, drama sells. Follow the money. Drama and sex, unfortunately. But unfortunately, neither one of those are really what I'm going for. Maybe two. What do we got here? Old Shield, Happy Face, LJ Bush. A lot of what we were taught about the founding of the U.S. are lies, along with other things. Now, that is true. But I want to say something. A lot about what I was taught about the history of the U.S. comes from my family, comes from sitting down with my grandparents, who sat down with their grandparents, and they shared it much in the way of the native cultures, where the elders shared what has happened. There is, I'm not going to lie, okay, there's a lot of stuff that's crap that's gone on in North America, and the focus of that is in the last couple of 100 years, because the United States and Canada, last couple of 100 years. But if we look at the archaeological record, which I do because I like to look at the big picture, people have always been coming here looking for a better form of life, and they have been wiping out whoever was here beforehand. So saying that it's a cycle doesn't make it right, and I'm not by any means justifying the actions of my forefathers. I am, however, saying that historically, people moved west looking for a better life. Okay, I screwed the pooch. I moved east looking for a better life. But here in North America, that we all need to just kind of accept that we are all coming here for a better life. Work towards that. Anybody who is not working towards that might want to reassess their location, ask themselves if they're really where they want to be. Back to the chat. Ditchweed, yeah, man, 100 views on how to grow a pepper and 1 million views on Kardashian's ass, right? See, that's exactly what I'm talking. I don't even think she's got a great ass. It's too much for me, but whatever. Evil, get all sexy with it. Well, you know, Charles P. sent me some pepper seeds, and actually, Robert, you did too. Here's a funny story for you guys. So within 1 week, 2 different viewers, both very loyal, longtime viewers, sent me penis pepper seeds. One sent me Peter pepper seeds and one sent me penis pepper seeds. But they both got here within the same business week. And I'm asking myself, I'm looking around and thinking, is this a sign that I'm a bit of a dick? Is that what's going on here? Or is this a sign that I need to grow a pair? Is that what's going on here? But either way, I think based on Charles P.'s example and his tasting of the Peter pepper, oh, we gonna bring the sexy. We gonna bring the sexy real good. It's gonna be fun, actually. I do want to try and make a bacon wrapped Peter pepper popper you know, based on your jalapeno popper, just because it's it's fun to say. I mean, try it at home right now. If there's nobody else around, it's just bacon wrapped Peter Pepper popper, right? It's fun. You just smile saying it. Democracy. I heard penis peppers. Yes, yes, you did. But whatever. You get your peppers in question mark? What? A sign that Peter tastes so good. Well, actually, I've heard the Peter pepper is not particularly flavorful, but I'll try it anyway because one man's trash is another man's treasure. I've learned this with this house and all of the stuff that I found in the yard that was, well, basically abandoned by the previous owners that I'm like, oh, I can use that. Oh, I can use that. Geez, I was just looking for one of those. I found so much stuff around here that was garbage to them and is gold to me. It's absolutely fabulous. So I'll check out the pepper flavor on my own, and I'll come to my own conclusions about that. But if I can get any that grow true to form, you can bet your hiney I'm going to go a little overboard with that because that's what I do. It's always been what I've done. And like I say, it's not necessarily out of a desire to be the center of attention so much as I get bored. I start joking. The jokes get out of control. All of a sudden, everybody's laughing. And I'm looking around going, what? Did I miss something? Is what it is. Okay, so back to the chat. Robert, I still like my pickled peppers idea. Yeah, I still like your pickled Peter Peppers idea too, but that's another one that's just so much fun to say. LJ, I'm like you on the police. I'm totally against the government and all politicians. Well, see, I'm not totally against them either. There's a reason these institutions exist, and unfortunately, stupidity has really, really just run rampant in the last 50, 60 years or so. Raspuny, you're rolling on the floor laughing. Well, I'm here for you. Old Shield, just a bit of cream cheese at the tip. Well, yeah, just a little bit, for artistic flair, just a little bit of a painting, if you will. Ditchweed, just picked a greenhouse screen door in the trash the other day, right? See? People throw away perfectly good stuff all the time. And here in town, I think they look at me a little strange because, somebody puts it in the trash and I'm like, well, shit, that's still good. I can use that. And I do. I bring it home and I try and use it. It's just the way it is. Evil jokes only went too far. Some girls in the corner crying about how her daddy touched her. That's not a joke. And that has definitely gone too far. Raspuni, JT, what's the scoop on the council run? Okay, cool. Well, the scoop on that is I went to a meeting last week that was about as much fun as counting the individual grains of sand on the beach. Yeah, because I took the time to read this little booklet. This little booklet right here. Because for all that I liked to skip class out of boredom and stuff, I love to learn. I will take information and just suck that stuff in like a sponge. Anyway, I read all that, so I spent 3 hours at this meeting watching them go over all of that. I have until the 15th or 15th or the 17th. I'll have to double check my numbers to get my nomination form in, on which I need 25 signatures from people in town. Basically, they don't have to commit to voting for me. They just have to say, okay, well, you know what? Sure, give them a try. I am at, I think, 13 or 14. I haven't done a lot lately as far as canvassing, but I want to go out and hit some of the smaller communities to let them know that, well, if not me, at least someone from a smaller community. Because right now, there are like 5 or 6 of us, the communities, being us in this case, that are part of the greater municipality. And the largest of the communities seems to think they have the right to run everything, and all decisions made at council are by people solely from that community, and therefore everything seems to mysteriously benefit them but not the rest of us hicks. So I want to go out to the rest of us hicks and look, this is what I'm doing, this is what I believe in. If you want to vote for me, great, but could you at least sign my paper so I have the right to collect votes? And I'm really hoping that I don't know, some people would call it a grassroots campaign. Some people would call it a redneck campaign, whatever. I'm hoping that my basic, friendly, door-to-door nature of approaching people in town, not necessarily door-to-door, but if I see somebody in the yard, I'll be like, hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Not quite the same. I don't want to be seen as, solicitous or anything like that. But I am still working on it to ultimately answer the question. Old Shield, 80% of my furniture is from neighbors throwing stuff out. Damn, Skippy. The couch that Mr. Lazarou is on there, we were having coffee one morning. Someone knocked on the door, and there were 2 love seats that were being dropped off in our driveway because they're like, well, we know you guys don't have a couch, and while you don't seem to care about it, we were getting rid of these 2 love seats. We figured we'd drop them by here. If you don't want them, we could take them. But, so of course we trucked him in, and little Gordon, while he was still with us, thoroughly destroyed one of them. The other one is the dog's couch. So that is what it is. But yeah, like the couch we had before that, actually the couch we had before that was just as freakish of a story. We bought a brand new mattress and box springs way back in the beginning of our relationship, just to kind of celebrate, well, it's us and we're moving forward. And Buddy saw our couch that we had for like years and years, and it was hand me down to hand me down to hand me down, hand me down, finally in our couch. And Buddy's like, we just picked up this couch. It's almost new. I can give it to you for free. It's all the same. I'll take yours. Nobody knows. And we eventually gave him like 20 bucks for it or whatever. But yeah, furniture just kind of randomly shows up here. Ditchweed, spring-loaded hinges closes by itself. Okay, I don't know what you got going on there, Ditchweed. I think I missed something. Old Shield, what happened to Gordon? What happened to Gordon is basically what was planned for Gordon. When we found him in the field, he was all crippled with his little gibble paw. He was like not even 5 weeks old. He was, howdy, Jay. He was not large enough or strong enough by any means to fend for himself in the wilds. And we have a lot of coyotes, foxes, apparently there are raccoons, a lot of hawks, a lot of eagles, a lot of things like that. So we decided we were going to take this kitten in, and we raised him for about 1.5 years, got him up to like his maximum size potential. And we started training him for outside behaviors because ultimately I don't like indoor cats. I don't believe they should be kept indoors. And I hate litter boxes. So there's a combo of events there that really factors in quite heavily. But there was one morning in particular when right in front of me, he hopped up. The green couch used to be where Laz's couch is. And seriously, right in front of me, just opened his bladder on the couch. So I grabbed him and I took him outside, and he realized he didn't have his harness or leash on that we had been training him on, and he just gone. Like he had clearly made some sort of plan looking out the windows, because he was out into the front of the house, across the front of the house, back to the field, and then gone down the canola in minutes. And we haven't seen him since, to be perfectly honest, which is it's a good bad thing. I missed the little fucker, pardon my language, but he was cute, and he'd do that cuddle rake thing and hop up in your lap, and you got this kitten on your shoulder. Very cute. But I don't miss, having to clean up the carpet all the time, fighting with the couch and cleaning the litter box and stuff. I'm not a house cat kind of guy. I'm a barn cat kind of guy. And when we have a barn, we will get more cats. We didn't really intend to get a cat. We just kind of stumbled upon Gordon. And I have this philosophy that kind of factors into all this too. I believe the universe will take care of me as long as I take care of what the universe puts in front of me. Some people would say, by universe, I say God, whatever. It's all the same thing. That's a whole other discussion that I'm not getting into. But because of that fundamental belief, when this injured kitten was in front of me, I ultimately believed I had no choice but to heal this thing until it could fend for itself. And now that he can fend for himself, and he beats the tar out of our dog. Like, he was a tough cat. We had him chasing lasers. He was a fast cat. I'm not worried about him out there. So now that he's big enough that I'm not worried about him out there, I feel it's okay to have let him go. I struggled for a little while because, I was like, oh, our kitten is gone. But it's like, I don't really want a cat anyway. I'm a dog person. So, yeah. Justin, I'm a little surprised it's still going too. But, I haven't finished off the bottle yet. Although we're getting close, eh? And people are still in the chat. So I'll babble till Shocks gets home, I guess. But what time is it? 8:09. We could potentially have up to another hour. Potentially. That said, I'm kind of feeling a need for a bio break. And it occurs to me I haven't taken the dog out in quite some time. Rasputin, once our cats left, the mouse came. Hope you don't get them. Well, I hope I don't get them too. But I like to believe that he's still running around out there. I found a few places where it looks like he may have sprayed on stuff since he's been out there. And Laz occasionally, he'll wander around the yard very much sniffing like he used to when it was a matter of hide and seek and he'd go find Gordon. So I do feel he's still out there. If mice and rats and stuff move in, well, there are traps, there are snakes, there are options. Chickens will do something for the mice too. So Old Shields, she working sort of. She's running a dance class. She's lately taken to doing, well, lately, 1, 2, 3, 4. For the last 5 months, she has been doing a belly dance women's fitness class. And the last month or so of that, she has opened up the second class to men and women of all ages. So hopefully she's having a lot of fun with that, really. Ditchweed, cool. I'll roll me one. Yeah, roll me one too while you're at it, buddy. Revtos, outdoor cats kill between 1.4 to 3.7 billion birds per year. It's a very broad range. And how do they even know that? Rev, where are your facts? Can you back that up? Is that on a government website somewhere? Justin, what kind of cat? He was a fluffy little bastard kind of cat, really. Don't quite know what his breed was. He was really, really fluffy. Shocks used to say something about him being a Mancoon or a Norwegian something forest cat, but he never really got enough size to him for that. He kind of looks like a cross between a local stray cat and a raccoon. What he looked like. You'd have to go through some of the older videos. He was very rampant when he was a kid, and he was in all of them. But it is what it was. Mice could be fish food. Well, for larger fish, I've seen a few things about carp and trout and salmon eating all kinds of smaller mammals. But I don't think my goldfish can take it. They can barely take a carrot slice without working on it. Revtos is in the Washington Post. The link is too long to put it in the chat, but you can Google it. All right, cool. Washington Post, close enough to a government type thing. I'll take it. Article in the Washington Post, so Old Shield backs that up. 3,900,000,001. Every second, a cat takes down another bird. But I mean, that's nature. And that's part of the natural cycle of life. I mean, yes, these are strays of a domesticated breed, but they are controlling the songbird population. They are controlling a lot of different things in the population. And I mean, right now, in this town, they have a policy that drives me nuts. Shocks doesn't care for it either. They shoot crows. They shoot crows because they will get in and eat the eggs of the songbirds. And they want to increase the songbird population. The songbirds, way more likely to get into my vegetable patch than the crows. I'd rather have the crows. I've informed the people in town who have the right to run around with their shotgun and blast away at the crows that if I find you shooting anything on my property, I'm going to shoot back because I'm going to assume you're shooting at me. Needless to say, in the 3 years that we've been here, there's only been a gun out in front of our house once. We made our statement after that point, and yeah, he hasn't come back. Getting started on homesteading. Well, welcome to the show. Ditchweed, how many chickens was eaten during this chat globally? God, don't even get me started on that. Chickens are there are more chickens on the planet than people, according to a few different sites that I was checking out, which is kind of freaky. So I think, if we don't eat them, they're going to take over the world. Just saying to all you vegetarians out there, Us meat eaters are doing you a favor. Those chickens are coming to get you. Ah, Old Shield, 4.2 billion chickens. Well, folks, this has been a blast, but I'm getting a little bit parched, and I'm definitely feeling a bottle of meat in my bladder. I'm gonna have to shut her down here pretty soon. But Rasputin, do I have any crazy plans for the next mead batch? Yes, yes, I do. First, I have to find some honey, and then I spent a long time working at Starbucks. Some of my flavor profile preferences were created by that experience. I want to try and make a pumpkin spice mead. Put a little milk in there, drink it by the campfire, pumpkin spice latte with booze. Perfect. That's my plan. The craziest thing I've got going right now, though, is the coffee mead. Probably going to be racking that in a couple of days because it's not really bubbling or brewing anymore. So it'll be interesting to see what comes of all that. But thank you guys so much for joining with me in the chat and spending so much time with me today. Yeah, I had no idea that it would actually carry on this long, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, have a fantastic day. I'll see you guys tomorrow with some sort of random video. And I don't know where to go from there. Jay, started my seeds for indoor aquaponics. Glad you started yours as well. Yeah, well, I start mine pretty much right away. Rev, no more pumpkin spiced anything. It's already too much. No Rev, pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice for life. Yeah, so good night, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic evening. Robert, milk and mead, won't it curl? I have no idea, but there's really only one way to find out. I will see you guys in the next totally random JT Bear video. And yeah, what Jay said, thumbs up and stuff, peeps.